Hello everybody, Mannix here. It's time for a little knife versus video. But first, as always, feel free to subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly knife and gun videos. This is going to be on the Luzon medium going up against the Big Daddy, the Luzon large, both by Cold Steel. Extremely similar knives as far as their functionality, materials, aesthetic, locking mechanisms. The main difference being the size, as you can clearly see. These are the only two sizes this knife currently comes in, filming this February 2025. It's funny to me how they call this one the medium and this one the large. It's a lot bigger than this one. I would personally call this like a small and that a large, or maybe like an XL and a medium if they came up with other sizes or something. But regardless, these are the two sizes, big one, small one. And again, they're extremely similar in overall functionality and aesthetics. Pretty much the only difference being the size. Even their prices are extremely close, and that's another thing we're going to get into. But first, let's just read off some specs. So on our medium, Cold Steel's official website is claiming it weighs 3.5 ounces, 4-inch blade, 5-inch handle, meaning we got a 9-inch overall length. GFN handle scale, skeletonized stainless steel liners, ATR 14 MOV steel on this one. I just got it like a week ago. ATR 13 MOV on the big one. I'm assuming they upgraded to the ATR 14 MOV recently. Their website does not currently say that, but maybe there's just kind of a sleeper upgrade they implemented without telling anyone. I don't really know why they did that, but currently this one I have that I got much more recently than the large one is wearing the ATR 14 rather than the 13. Retails at $49.99. You can see these go for around $30. Now Big Daddy, their website is saying it weighs 9.3 ounces, so pretty much triple the weight. 6-inch blade length, 7.5-inch handle length. Overall length coming in at 13.5 inches. Retails at $69.99. So $20 more in retail, but in the aftermarket, you see these go for sometimes just like $7 or $8 more, or sometimes not even that. Long story short, this guy's not even a $10 bill more most of the time in comparison to this, and you're getting a lot more material here for the money. If you're really into this knife already, or either one of these, that may have given you the decision on which one to pull the trigger on, but we'll get into the nitty-gritties right now. They are both liner locks. They both are wearing the leaf spring safety locking mechanisms on them. They're basically just locks for the locks. I have a video on how that works, but just a tempered piece of steel that obstructs the liner from going into the disengaged position. Works exactly the same on both of them. Obviously, the bigger one's going to have a bigger one, so it's going to work better. They're unobtrusive, out of the way, so if you don't care about locking mechanism safeties and stuff like that, you don't have to use them. They're not automatic. There's just a detent in there that kind of keeps it in place. They won't shake out or rattle or anything like that as far as I know. Nice positive click on that, not a big deal. Better on the large one, for sure. Much more positive click and louder. Both of these guys are on ball bearings, so they're nice and smooth. I have this one cranked down pretty hard. Basically no blade play in any direction. It's a very good lockup now. No wrist movement needed. Same thing with our large. No wrist movement on that. Check that out. 6-inch blade. Even better lockup. No blade play that I can detect as far as I have this cranked down. That's quite a feat there. 6-inch blade gliding out, no torsion bar, no spring. That's just all on the index finger because of those ball bearings. Really helps that sucker get out there. So it's really fast. Both of these guys are fast. They're both wearing the polymer pocket clips. I can only assume it's the exact same material that they're using for the handle scales, but that's a new one. I haven't seen this in a very long time. I mean, that was what a lot of knives did back in like the very early 2000s and going back into the 90s and probably even before that. The standard obviously is now metal clips, but hey, we got plastic clips on these two suckers. I've never had any issues with them. The advantage is that they're not going to scratch other materials around them as easily. They themselves also will not get scratched very easily. I haven't seen these break or crack even during destruction tests. The pocket clips tend to hold up pretty well, so no problems with that. It's not straight up plastic. It's going to be the GFN as far as I know, so no issues with that. They actually carry very well. I actually don't mind them. You are going to see a big old fat wide pocket clip sticking out of your pocket there, yeah, but it's not metal, it's black. Take that for what it's worth. I like the lanyard holes on both of them. Oval shapes. They accommodate both the clips and the handle scales themselves. Really cool. Both of them are not swappable to the left side. However, thank God they are both tip up. They're just not ambidextrous. But even then, they're liner lock. So even if they were ambidextrous, you still have to deal with the leaf spring lock being on a different side and having to deal with a liner lock. They're both very affordable, especially this large one right here. Nice big old guards. I always hold this one down here. I see it more like a Marshall emergency defensive tool. A lot of reach right there, a lot to hold on to, very thick handle. I like the backspacers on these matching up with the liners that are bead blasted, by the way. It's a really cool look, the black and the gray. Aggressively skeletonized liners in there, as you can see, big old square cutouts. They could not have skeletonized this sucker anymore. It's not going to get too much lighter than this as far as these materials can go. Big old fuller on there too, which is kind of cool. I like the blade shape, long clip blade. Most of the belly is going to be up in this portion. So it's not the most utility friendly. I mean, the size alone is not very utility friendly for the most part, but it's going to be an excellent piercer. A+ defensive blade, I think, so very good on that. All the same things apply on the medium one too, very good for piercing. Decent amount of belly to work towards the tip. Although personally at this size, we lose a lot of what the large one is. I see it primarily as a defensive tool, not a bushcraft blade, not so much a hiking blade. It's purely just defense. Tactical emergency defensive tool. That's kind of what its calling is because it's a liner lock. You don't need a super strong locking mechanism for a defensive blade, says me. Even if the liner does bother you, hey, you do have that additional safety on there. Big old steel obstruction. It'll make it even less likely to disengage on you. But when you start getting into bushcraft stuff and batoning and super hard work, eventually this guy is going to start developing play. I would not baton with this thing. It's not a triad lock. It never will be. It's still just a liner lock, even with that extra safety. During destruction test videos I've seen on this guy, I have not yet seen the liner disengage all the way with the safety, but I have seen it develop a lot of play. The medium, on the other hand, I have seen disengage even with that leaf spring lock engaged. I have seen this guy get spine whacked and that disengage as well as the liner disengage and the blade come back down on the user. That just has to do with the sheer size. It's just there's not as much steel there, obviously. It can't handle as much. So although I do like and appreciate how the leaf spring lock is on this medium, it's not quite as effective in this configuration, unfortunately. This guy, though, effective enough. I do like it. The advantage we have with the liner lock is that it's going to be a lot faster than a triad lock, but we're going to lose a lot of strength. I do kind of wish these guys came with Atlas locks because those have a lot of speed and a lot of strength, but these were designed before the Atlas lock was available, so that's just what we have, are liner locks, unfortunately. But hey, again, leaf spring lock helps, at least. Ergonomics are good on the large, not fantastic. It's a very simple design. We do have some curvature in here, as you can see. A lot of little cutouts. They do offer some traction on your fingers right there. It's not super grippy or anything. The texture on the handle scales are exactly the same. It's just like the Tough Lights, the Pro Lights, a lot of the other Cold Steel models on their GFN and Grivex are using this texture. I like it. There is something there. It's not super grippy. It's not super smooth. It's somewhere in between. I totally don't mind it. You can see there are concave cutouts in the handle scales, so that does kind of offer some dynamics. Again, not super texture, but not bad either. There's no like jimping anywhere as far as I can see, but again, we have a lot of little cutouts all over the place, so I don't think it's a big deal. You can scooch up here. Index finger fits pretty snugly in there. It's nice and rounded, so not too uncomfortable or anything like that. But the guard on the spine of the blade is kind of out of place. I feel like my thumb wants to be here, but it gets obstructed by that guard, so I have to kind of scooch down there. Not the end of the world. However, when we step down to the medium one, it's even less comfortable, I think. Now I really want to get an extra grip right here because I have less handle to grip onto, but that guard up here is in the way. The guard down here is fine. Not this guy though. I kind of wish this was like up here, or better yet, not there at all. But it does help your hand from moving forward if you were to perform a thrust with this thing. So not the end of the world. It's just not the most comfortable knife ever as far as the medium one is concerned. We have the same cutouts here, the same lines, the same curvature. It's okay. It's just I kind of want to scooch up here. But another problem is that this cutout is also shrunken down. So my index finger kind of lands right at the bump of the liner right there, which is rounded. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not exactly comfortable either. Disengaging it is not very comfortable because your thumb's going to land, or my tip of my thumb anyway, lands right at the tip of the liner right there. Not the most pleasurable to disengage this guy, unfortunately. Not a big deal. It's just not as comfortable as many other knives out there within the same price range, if not cheaper. So I can't say it's a good thing. But again, with the Big Daddy, that is not an issue at all. It's totally reasonable, totally comfortable. A lot of leverage to work with. The large one, the leaf spring, kind of rattles a little bit. Unless it's engaged, it rattles less. I don't really hear anything. When it's disengaged, it rattles. That may bother some. Medium, nothing. No rattling on the medium one, at least. So that's one thing it's got going for it. I love how fast this large is for being a manual knife. That's insane. Extremely fast deployment on this guy. Very easy extraction. You got a lot to hold on to. You can get a big old purchase on this handle when it's in your pocket. Yeah, it's not loop over, it's not super covert and invisible and all that stuff, but hey, I can grab onto this thing very, very easily and extract it and deploy it very fast. That's what I'm looking for with a knife this size anyway. The same still kind of applies to the little one. There's a lot to grip onto here, and you can also deploy it quickly. It's just going to be significantly weaker. It's basically just a regular liner lock, and if you do engage that additional leaf spring lock as well, that will help. It's still just not foolproof though, and it's kind of contradictory. I mean, the knife's super fast and all, but you have to spend extra time engaging a second locking mechanism if you actually want to take advantage of that. So you do you. If you don't want to use it, hey, just consider it a liner lock. You don't lose anything by having this here, so I don't see it as a disadvantage. The medium, it's okay. I do like it and all. It's very affordable, you know, 30 bucks, 27 bucks. You can see it go on sales for decently lightweight, you know, like 3.5 ounces or so. 4-inch blade. It's a long blade. It's a lot to work with. It's fast, it's nimble. There is enough to hold on to here. It's just not the most comfortable. It's not the most ergonomic. It's not the most utilitarian friendly. It's kind of a bizarre design. It's a pretty good defensive blade, but if you're going to get this for defense, I'd rather just get the large. The large is going to be terrible for EDC, but an absolute home run for defense. This guy is somewhere in between for both. It's okay with utility and EDC. It's okay with defense, but it doesn't really excel at either one. It's a good price. It's not a bad knife, but it doesn't really have a whole lot really going for it in this particular size anyway. This guy is one of the best affordable defensive blades on the market, says me. About $35 or so you can see these go for sometimes. Standard price is more like $45, but I've seen these go on crazy sales on sites like Amazon. That is dirt cheap. For a big old 6-inch slab at 8CR13 or possibly 8CR14 MOV now, totally worth it. Cold Steel does a great job sharpening their knives, great job heat treating them, absolutely no complaints for that blade steel. Yeah, it's cheaper, it's not going to hold its edge forever, but it will take a fantastic edge. Now, that being said, because this knife I think primarily is for defense, I don't see the blade steel being a softer, cheaper one being an issue whatsoever. A defensive knife is something that's supposed to be used in an emergency defensive situation, nothing more. So I would not use this for other tasks typically that would otherwise dull the blade. That's just me. So I don't see an issue with a softer blade steel for a defensive knife. It doesn't bother me. I've said this many, many times. Yeah, some people are going to see that as a bad thing. So, well, you can't cut anything with that steel. It's too cheap, blah, blah, blah. It's nonsense. Trust me, this will cut just fine. It'll cut a person just fine. On our smaller one, on the other hand, if you're saving this just for defensive use, yeah, again, no problem. Same rule still applies. But if you want to use this as an EDC knife as well, which you can, no issues with that either. It's just keep that in mind. By the way, these both have quote-unquote thumb studs, although their primary intended purpose is to be blade stops, not actually thumb studs. You can use them as thumb studs, but they are kind of small and a little bit uncomfortable. This liner sucks, man. I don't like that. That hurts my thumb every time I try to disengage that thing on the small one anyway, or sorry, medium. Same thing here, big old fat kind of Reese's peanut butter cup looking thumb stud on there, but it's primarily a blade stop, works just fine. Lockup's good on both these guys. Both these guys are fast. I like the pocket clips. I actually don't mind them. I mean, I would not pick a polymer pocket clip most of the time. I just go for the standard metal one. But hey, if you like it, there are advantages of these guys. I've never seen these break or crack or anything like that, unless you were deliberately trying to break it with pliers or something, I suppose they'd break. But even under destruction tests, I haven't really seen them break. So I don't have any issues with that, but it is kind of old-fashioned. It is something different. Maybe you want a plastic pocket clip. They are going to be a lot easier on your hand if you are actually using this for harder work. They're not going to ride up in the palm as much. So that is another thing. They are removable. If you absolutely don't want them for that either, you can get rid of these. Let's see how these suckers are going to carry. So Big Daddy right here. Perfect tension on these guys too. Absolutely no issues with them. The scales underneath are nice and smooth, so no issues with that either. That's essentially what you're probably going to see. You're going to see the satin blades kind of gleaming out there just a little bit, but very, very easy to extract. Especially this big one. Super easy. I love having a lot of knife to hold on to without it being too obnoxious. So overall, I like both of these knives. I love the large Luzon. This one's where it's at. This leaf spring lock, because of its size, it's able to tank in a lot of additional force. And just because the knife's bigger, there's more steel there. There's more to hold on to. It's just a much, much, much longer, bigger blade. It's a lot more intimidating. It's going to be a lot more effective for defense. Obviously, you don't have to be a knife expert to figure that one out. Just use your eyeballs, look at these two. Which one would you rather have for defense, you know? But the This one's going to be a lot lighter, a lot more nimble, take up a lot less space in your pocket, be a lot more utilitarian and EDC, sheeple friendly, all that stuff. But my main issue is that this guy's just only slightly cheaper. You're only saving like maybe $7 or $8 most of the time. I'd personally just go for this one. But if you want a more utilitarian friendly knife, I would kind of just forego the medium one. There's plenty, I mean plenty of other knives out there on the market that not only are the same price, but sometimes cheaper, that have D2 or a crossbar lock and just have better ergonomics. The medium one doesn't really do a whole lot for me unless you really happen to like this specific design. And for whatever reason, you just want a liner lock in the ball bearings, you want this particular blade, you want that additional locking mechanism for the locking mechanism, and let's say you want the polymer pocket clip. If that's your bag, yeah, the Luzon medium is totally a good knife. No issues with that overall, but the large one, I think, is where it's at. This knife rocks. This one, take it or leave it. That is it. That is our cold steel medium and large Luzons going head to head. Pretty interesting knives, pretty cool. The large one, I'm totally for. I'm just not too crazy about the medium one, but that's just me. What do you think of either of these knives? Do you have both of them? Do you have one of them? Which one do you prefer? Do you like either of them? Do you hate both of them? Let me know in the comments down below. It's always interesting to hear what you guys have to say, and I always learn something from you. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.